For people like us, it might feel like athletes are living the dream with all their fame, money, and success, but more often than not, those are the people who go through the most. One such athlete is Simone Biles, who had to face some pretty traumatic events, but she's still braving them. Today, let's talk about how the reason Simone Biles quit was more heartbreaking than we could have ever imagined. Let's find out more, starting with the real reason Simone called it quits. Many people thought that Biles was just exhausted after living the dream for decades, but that wasn't really the case. Sure, she was exhausted, but it wasn't from the sport, but the people that came with it. Simone Biles is the most recent gymnast to accuse disgraced former team doctor for the U.S. national team, Larry Nassar, of abusing her. Biles, who won 4 gold medals at the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, gave a detailed and sad account of the abuse she suffered. She wrote that while most of the world knows her as a happy, giggly, and energetic girl, lately she has been feeling a bit broken, and the more that she tries to shut it all out, the worse it gets. She said she was no longer reluctant to share her history and detailed how she is one of the numerous survivors who was sexually assaulted by Larry Nassar. She went on to say that people need to understand how difficult it was for her to utter and then put down those things in writing. While Biles was initially hesitant to tell her story for a number of reasons, she now realizes that this was not her fault. After pleading guilty to 7 charges of criminal sexual conduct in a Michigan court last year, Nassar, a former doctor for the U.S. women's gymnastics team who was accused of sexually assaulting more than 140 women and kids under the pretext of medical treatment, is awaiting sentence. Next, what Simone had to say about quitting. When talking about the experience recently, the world-famous gymnast highlighted how while it might feel to the world that she quit very early, she actually wanted to do it even before. The Olympic gymnast recently revealed some of her private struggles by saying in an interview that she should have stopped participating in gymnastics far before Tokyo. The 24-year-old Olympian spoke about her experience at the Tokyo Games and the difficult journey that led her there, which includes enduring abuse at the hands of Larry Nassar. In a recent interview with New York Magazine, "If you looked at everything I've gone through the previous 7 years, I should have never made another Olympic squad," Biles told the magazine. She said that she should have left the team much before Tokyo, during the 2 years when Larry Nassar was well publicized. Obviously, it was too much for her to handle, yet she insisted that she would not allow him to take away everything she had fought for since she was a child. She told the media that he couldn't take her happiness away from her, so she ignored it for as long as her reasoning and body would let. She did reach a breaking point though, and then finally decided to leave. Not to mention, there were physical hindrances too. Not only was she in a mental state of trauma, but the star was also going through some physical troubles. Biles' decision to withdraw from participation in the Tokyo Olympics startled supporters at first, but she was eventually praised for putting her own mental health and safety first. She revealed at the time that she had been struggling with the twisties. For those of you who don't know, it's a potentially lethal condition in which a gymnast's brain and body become disjointed and performance becomes risky. Biles told reporters in New York when she realized it was no longer safe for her to participate. She said the situation was so dangerous that her survival was a miracle. According to her, if it was not her and someone else, she was sure that a stretcher would have been used to carry them out. However, she was aware of her limits. Biles claims that after completing that one successful vault, she told her coach, "I can't do this anymore." The brave gymnast eventually returned to competition and earned bronze on the balance beam, giving her a total of 7 medals from the Olympics. But she started a nationwide discussion on the value of caring for one's emotional well-being. Because of Biles' Olympic experience, discussions concerning the pressures faced by Black female athletes and Black women in general have taken on new significance. Biles mentioned this in her interview, saying that as a Black woman, the pressure to be greater was immense, because even when Black female athletes break records, their achievements are almost always dimmed down. Now let's go over how Simone Biles correcting stranger who asked why she quit gymnastics. As we mentioned, her decision to quit was not taken lightly by the world, which was obviously super wrong. After all, at the end of the day, it's their decision whether they want to continue or not. When talking about how the world took her decision, she went on Instagram to clear any rumors. The star had a Q&A session on her Instagram stories where she reached out to her followers and let them ask her questions about her recent engagement to Owens, her life, her career, and even about the break. There was one person among the crowd who dropped her a question asking why she quit gymnastics, and to that, our queen was all all up to clear the air. She immediately responded by saying, "If one day I decide to be done with the sport, I will be retired." You go, girl. The question didn't sit well with her, and she added, "I go to 5 Worlds, 2 Olympics. The disrespect." Well, if that teaches anyone anything, it's to never ask questions when you are not informed about the situation. What's more, she has even talked about it earlier. This obviously meant a lot to her, and anyone who knows her would know that she has even talked about the word quitting before. Earlier, she explained how the word quitter was not in her dictionary, and anyone who knows her would not define her with that word. She then went full sassy and added that those who still try to call her that, well, all they can do is keep talking, because she said, "I can't hear you over my 7 Olympic medals, which tied me for the most decorated gymnast ever, as well as most decorated American gymnast. If there's one thing we love, it's a determined queen like her." We can only imagine how much hate and backlash she must have been getting that led her to react like this. Well, looks like people, or shall we say haters, are going to be more careful moving forward. Up next, will Simone Biles return to competitive gymnastics in 2023? As clear from her statements we just talked about, one thing is clear: the star is far from quitting or even retiring for that matter. This then brings us to our very next question. Will she be coming back for competitive gymnastics in the year 2023? Well, the answer to this might disappoint some out there, but it is what it is. From what we know so far, she might be sitting out on the 2023 competition, and we don't blame her at all. After all, she should take all the time she needs to get back on her feet, both mentally and physically. Keeping in mind all that she has gone through, a break is the least she can ask from her fans, right? Well, Simone, you do what you feel is best. Your true fans will be here waiting for you in your corner, ready to cheer you on whenever you decide to come back. Following up, when will she come back? Simone Biles has not yet determined if she will attend the 2024 Olympics in Paris as a participant or a spectator. Biles has been questioned many times in the past week about a potential gymnastics return, and each time she has reiterated her intention to compete in the next Olympics in Paris. She said that she was taking some time to focus on her own emotional and physical health before making a comeback. She recently confirmed in an interview in Mexico City that she would, without a doubt, be present in Paris in 2024. She stressed that she is unsure if she would participate as an athlete or a spectator, but that if she does decide to train, she will give it her all, but she would try her hardest anyhow. In a recent episode of The Late Show with James Corden, Biles similarly responded. In addition, Biles has shown that she is not ruling out any possibilities by publicly announcing that she is still undergoing drug testing this summer. This is crucial because many athletes who retire or want to take a lengthy hiatus from sports also fill out papers to have their names removed from drug testing pools. After 6 months of being back in the drug testing system, Biles would be allowed to compete again if she chooses to take her name out of the system. In 2000, Dominique Dawes was the last American woman to qualify for 3 Olympic teams in artistic gymnastics. Meanwhile, we can keep our fingers crossed, as several prior U.S. gold medal gymnasts have taken time off after the games and then returned. Finally, a look at what she's up to these days. Simone Biles may be taking a sabbatical from professional gymnastics, but she clearly hasn't lost her passion for the sport. The famous gymnast recently showed that she is still in touch with the sport by playing a practical joke on Snapchat. After Biles had an attack of the twisties during the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, she decided to retire the following year. Since then, she has put her gymnastics career on hold in order to devote more time to her friends and family. However, Simone Biles' Snapchat was recently revealed to have been hacked by a fellow gymnast. So, a fellow gymnast sent a video on Biles' Snapchat as a humorous joke. The clip was filmed at a gymnastics facility and showed gymnasts working on routines and posing in their gear. That day, she said, they had been working on their beam routines in practice. It further suggested that Biles may be preparing for upcoming tournaments by engaging in gymnastic practices. Biles has been seen at the gym, but she has yet to address the takeover or the recordings. That's a wrap for this video. So what do you think of the reason behind Simone quitting? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.